Check. Is this thing on? I've gone whole streams without the mic on straight up. Shout out to everybody. Hey, let's start making fun of me. I'll start making fun of myself, you know. You can't laugh at yourself, can't laugh with everybody. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me. This is our second to last stream here in Massachusetts. And it's over, folks. Absolutely over. Hold on one second. Anyway, shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Let's take a look at what's happening here in the market as we kind of break it down and see what's going on for BTC. 64,740. As you can see, I was in a long there. Not a huge one, but I am in a long battling these charts right now. Hold on one second. I just want to check one. I got to get one thing. Hold on one second. Hello. Shout out to, sorry, okay. Disheveled in the morning. Shout out to everybody here. It's not easy to go as hard as I go every single day. I'm going to nail it, though. We're going to forget this moment ever happened and keep it moving. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Let's take a look at the week's trade, and we can just kind of go from there. We'll build that adrenaline from the trade. We'll see what's happening. So I got in long last night. We were up like $500-600. Nice pump right there to the upside. Things were looking good. Just about like 10 minutes ago. Started getting ready for the stream, set up the countdown, and we had a little bit of a move to the downside. Ever since then, only up 250 there, kind of sideways of the trade. I did put my stop loss to break even, so I can't lose anything on the trade. We'll see what happens. It's been like that, but we did get a pretty good pump. The bigger move, 64,000 up to 65,000. I usually get, $1,000 on a $1,000 move. But what I did was, I didn't like the price action after Kevin Warsh on Fed Day, low volume on the summer. And I went halfway on the trade, which I think is a smart idea. My mom was like, why would you go hard when you know price action is sketchy on low volume? So, and a light order book on the summer chart. So that's what happened. That's why it's only $200 right now, but we'll see what happens. We could reverse in a second. We're going to break it down for you. Things have changed since I last looked at the charts. So I want to reassess what's going on, see if we can hold some key levels. We're going to talk about what levels those are. We're going to break it down, and we're going to look at what I see happening here on the monthly. When I take a look at the monthly, I get a bit excited. I'm like, you know what? It looks good to me. We just need to close this candle green. And we've been fighting all July for that green close. And we're so close for it, folks. Seems like there's only a matter of time till we get that close. And I'm actually pretty excited because you get the close for July and it says that's your tweezer bottom. And I keep looking for this to become somewhat of a right shoulder back to the upside for Bitcoin. We take out this liquidity. The first zone we have to take out is 82,000. Then we go to 89, and then it's all-time highs. It's not that much, you know what I mean? When you look at the big picture, it's not that big a deal. It really isn't. And there's a couple things that I showed, I went over earlier this morning, and I'll talk about again. Let me jump on into the chat, make sure the chat is actually lively and ripping. I see a lot of stuff happening in the chat, a bunch of colors here. My goodness, hold on. There's a bunch of stuff going on right now. I don't know what's going down, but it is crazy out here. Let's take a look at the fan funding. Hold up. We have Crypto Archie. Your analysis on what if played out perfectly, expecting higher. Shout out to our man for the $99 super chat from Crypto Archie. Guy scans the underground, looking for the hotness. And if something has a market cap that could explode, he's on it. And me and him have been like kind of lockstep. Last time, here we are again. And I pay attention to him. He pays attention to me. Shout out to Crypto Archie. I think we're going to be doing some type of collab soon. When I get back, just in 2 days, I can have my head on straight. I'm excited. God bless you. Hope everything's going well with you and your community, you and your family. And outside of YouTube is fun, but outside of everything else, I hope your life is going well. Thank you so much. $99 goes a long way for the channel. I greatly appreciate that. And as a trader, hey, that's $70 worth of if right there, man. Before, But thank you so much, man. Greetings, Comrade Life. If looks ready to explode. Would love some TA. Thank you, my favorite honorary true Korean, my man Tibber John Yoon on that if. Wow. Hey, shoot out for all the call on If Lifer. For all your calls. Appreciate the time and everything for us. Wow, my man. And your call on If made me $10,000. My man, Casper Gold Standard. Good morning, legend. Thank you for the If call. Appreciate you, brother. This is crazy. You guys are getting crazy. I think this is like a... Hey, man, I did make a call. It was out there. People paid attention. They're here for those fat gains. I know it. They don't want to sit there and learn how to trade Bitcoin like I pound it. You know what I mean? Got to do this, got to do that. They want quick, fast gains. Well, I'll tell you what. We have the proof inside the Discord. And when I first looked at it, if I had to give it some time, I think I saw it at like 200 market cap. I don't want to give it any. When I first looked at it, 7/16 at 9:16 p.m. at night. That was just 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago to the day. You know? Yeah, exactly 14 days ago. And I was looking at it at a $459,000 market cap. High-risk Robinhood meme. What if? I hadn't put a meme out to the trading group. If you scroll, I haven't looked at a meme. Oh my, I hadn't put a meme out in a long time. We just traded regular coins, so you have to pay attention. If I put a meme out, and I haven't put out a meme in years, a couple years really since I looked at it, and then I said, look, still watching What If at the 550. Now it's done almost a 10x. All right, and we went over it on the live stream. Here I am again. What If trending on 7/21. What If hit the target? Crazy. Yeah, so right here we were looking at it, and I think I have it. This is the old chart. Oh no, it won't show the old chart. But this chart at the time had What If going to the upside. You see what I'm saying? Then it hit the target right here. Bang, off the 618 786 Fibonacci retracement. This thing was trading exactly like Bitcoin, exactly like a real asset. All right, and then you could see it looked like it wanted to head up there for more at the $5 million market cap. And then again, it was trending yet again. What if? And I keep telling you, I'm just telling you, it's trending. There it is at $6.7 million market cap. And here, you know, and this one looks interesting. The Bitcoin bull. And I'm not trying to be a meme channel here. We're going to get back into Bitcoin, but let's take a look at this. This is this dude, Jason AI Williams, who's actually pretty cool online. You know, I got to know him a little bit, did his spaces one time. Super nice. Quirky, different, but kind of like me. I'm like that in a way. But this is like, I mean, just the presentation looks beautiful. This market cap has just been only going up. I don't know what's happening. I saw this thing go from like $1 million to 41 million. It did a 40x in my face. I didn't touch it. And maybe it goes to zero. These are high risk. You know what I mean? But I'm watching this. And again, this is not financial advice. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. But man, that looks like 81% gains right there. But again, maybe it had its day already. I can't tell you. Let's take a look at If, because I know that's what you guys are all fiending for. Holding that $10 million market cap, which is so beautiful and juicy. Getting a nice pump there to the upside. What if? Where's Bitcoin? 64,730. Kind of, you know, we're going to get back into Bitcoin in a second. We need to hold that key level for BTC. What if I would bring this trend line here? I would bring this trend line there. And I would say this thing is breaking out for more. And I'd say it has a measured move to the upside, and it's starting to head out. And it's headed to 1628 is the next target for What If. You can see that's the measured move, folks. Why do I say that? Actually, it's a little higher if we take that wick. This is just kind of what stuff does. I don't understand why. Like, I've never tried to ask myself why this happens. I just know that it does. Asking why would take away from the time it would take to put in the numbers and make my risk-reward ratio and actually make the trade, you know? This thing looks like it's going to go to the moon. Could it get to a $100 million market cap? It's starting to create the basis point. Or is this just, do we do everything we could? Is my attention, the other people's, is that all we could get? Is the market so small that, you know, it's, you know, we don't know. What if? The thing about it, it's on a new chain. We know how new chain memes do. They do pretty well. So it has that going for it. New chain meme. All right. Second, it has actually a lot of traction. Third, the price action's been great. Like I look at coins and I'm like, that's garbage. I wouldn't touch it. You know what I'm saying? I look at price action. To me, it's all about price action. Let's get back into BTC. And so the monthly, to me, still on this beautiful falling wedge, just like we see here for Bitcoin. Back in 2022, when I called the bottom, bought a 19K Bitcoin, called the $15,800, $16,000 bottom, found the bullish divergence, kept going over it on multiple channels. People would have me around the blockchain on you know, I'd be on the morning show On Ben's channel with 1 million subscribers watching, there would be like 40, 50,000 people watching me. I'd say this is your bottom. Like I said, if this isn't your bottom, then my strategies don't make any sense. When you're away from the 21, when the 200's pulled apart, when you're near the 200 moving average, unlike the 2-week chart, I mean, my goodness. So here we are again, near the 50. You only go a little bit below the 50 there. That one went from 22 down to 15. Fine. Do we have another 30% drop down to 40,000? There's a chance, folks. I'm not saying we can't dump a little bit more. I'm open-minded. I say I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. Bitcoin could dump. To me, you buy. Matt, these would be some of the biggest buys in my life for Bitcoin. Chance to get 2-3 more Bitcoin right there. Chance to get a couple, you know what I mean? Should be coming out there with 5 Bitcoin when that's over, said and done, at least for me. But I don't know about for you. That's like, I kind of have an idea. And that would be substantial to add to my stack of beat. Like if you had 100 and you added 5 more, that's 1/20th. That's a lot more Bitcoin, especially at those beautiful prices. And that balances out any Bitcoin you bought at the top, or whatever your DCA is too. I started buying Bitcoin very low, so my DCA is very low. 2-week chart. I talk about it all the time. Not many people do. There's only been 3 times you've had a green R here. And I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but there it is again. 1, 2, 3. The bottom of the pandemic, the bottom of the last rally, and the bottom of this rally. It's insane, huh? And then you have this beautiful bullish divergence. Now, maybe we don't bottom. But I'm just telling you that the odds are so high. And I've been doing this every single day on my channel because every day someone new is watching. I know the old people like, Sam, man, you say this every day. But you know what? Once this plays out, people are going to be like, that's the dude that said this every single day and never wavered. There's something about doing one video one time, like, oh, remember that video I said Bitcoin was gonna, and doing it every single day. It's a bit, there's a difference there. There's a commitment value that gets created when you never miss. People love consistent people. Your best friend, the one you want the most, if you were to drop a friend, if AI could make you a friend, you know what I mean? And it could actually be a real person though. It would find this person for you and put them in your life. You would want a consistent friend. I'm going to be there at 7, man. Can't wait to see you for the game. And shows up at 6:45 with extra. Not, oh, man, I can't make it at 7:15. Sorry, I know we had plans, but it just didn't work out tonight for me. You know what I mean? People want consistent people in their life. They don't want to be let down. Nobody likes to be let down. Who wants to be let down? Who wants their dad tell them they're coming to the game? They look out in the crowd. They don't see their dad. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. My dad was consistent. I was blessed. My dad was at every single game I ever had, whether it was soccer, hockey, you know what I mean? Football, we had a drive with the school, but he ended up there eventually, if he could. Sometimes he couldn't. They brought us on the bus. It was like, whatever, but that's different. But my dad was at every single game, man. He never played me. I never had to wake him up. He was never hung over. Dad, I got to get there. You forgot. Never. He was waking me up, telling me, hey, it's time to go. It's early. 5:30 in the morning. We had games at 7 a.m. We had to be at the rink by 6:30. You know what I mean? I had to put on my all hockey equipment. It takes 20 minutes. I'd sit with the team. The place was 30 minutes away. He had to wake me up 5:45. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's just looking like we can get a move to the upside here on the 50-minute and the 5. It could, I could see it go either way. I understand it is an ascending triangle, and if it dumps, it dumps. We'll take our lumps because it's not a guarantee. Nothing is, but the odds are looking okay. I like how we're nudging above the 21. See the last time we nudged above the 21? Nice pump. Looks like a nice pump could be coming. Similar idea here when you get above the 21 moving average. See this? You got above the 21, and we were just gone. We could go on a beautiful, beautiful little tear here, back up to 70, 76, 77,000. So I like what I'm seeing here for Bitcoin. The daily looks interesting to me too as well. When I assess the situation, I see a falling wedge that wants to break back to the upside. Now, could it just be a fake out breakdown? It could. They may rip this puppy right. I'm telling you, I'm open-minded, especially in the summer. Sketchy business in the summer. And, it's a cool trade, but, if we didn't get in too early like I did, last night, or, trying to get in now, it's all right. But I just feel like we're just going to head up to here and then probably come back down. Like, there's a chance we break out. and you keep going, eventually we're going to come to this 200 moving average, but we're probably, I see something more like this. I see sideways price action maybe till, and funny, that says sideways price action till like next Thursday, or for 2 Thursdays from now, right? For 2 weeks. You know, that could happen. You know what I mean? Like, look, we did it here. As weird as that's been 2 weeks. That's since July 13th. And just, you know, we could chop around again. Chop down, chop up. I see us eventually getting out of this hole. Second week of August, something like that. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we just shoot out of here. I am bullish, regardless of what happens here or there. I am bullish on stop losses below here. Look at, there's a gap there. We have a point of control now. We have nice, you know, you have resistance, resistance, resistance. You're playing an SR flip, support or resistance flip if you're getting in here on the long. That's why I eventually ventured into the longs. That's why I'm keeping the longs open on the monthly and the weekly. Sorry, something in my eye. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here for BTC on the daily. Let's zoom on in. 22 and the 12-hour, my go-tos looking like they're going to pump up to the 200 moving average. This is getting closer and closer. We were looking for it here and there. Third time could be a charm here with the pump to the upside. 8-hour time frame with a massive candle. That's going to close a bullish engulfing candle today. And at 12 o'clock and 1 hour and 27 minutes. And that's going to be very, very bullish. 4-hour also looks nice to me. I like what I'm seeing on the 4-hour. We're back above this resistance area. Big pump on the 4-hour time frame. A little bit of a wick there, but big pump to the upside. Kind of feel like we broke out on the 4-hour. We're on the other side of the trend line at this point. Barely, but we're outside. And that brings me down to this 1 hour and this 200 moving average. As you can see, it's kind of all about this. You know, we might kind of make the move down like this. We might flag down to it and make the pump. We might flag sideways. Regardless, I believe the bigger, you know, high-risk entry is now. But you might end up, you know, drawing some being underwater for a bit there. Beautiful trade if we get above the 200 and still touch the 21. That's what I look for. Look at this weird shoulder, kind of head and right shoulder. You can see it was a cup with a handle. Semi-cup and hand. He wins again. Look at the straight. It's just green, 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 green. The cup and handle produces such a win. And remember, I gave you guys this trade the other night. Remember, we went in long. We woke up the next morning in money. Last night we went long. Woke up the next morning in the money. All right. So 2 mornings in a row, woke up to gains. Gains in our sleep. If you did exactly what the lifer did, press the buttons the lifer pressed. Stop losses did not get hit. And they don't have to be huge gains. They just got to be gains. As long as you're compounding a win on top of a win, as long as you're not losing, remember, 90, keep repeating to yourself, most of these people are losing everything. They're not joining a trading group. They're telling themselves they can do it alone. It's like going into a jungle, and right out front on your way in, there's a guy who's like, I've been in the jungle for 20 years. I know so much about it. I could probably help you from getting hurt or bitten, or I know where all the dangers lie. And pay attention, you know? And you're like, nah, I'm all set, I'll pass. And for a fraction of what you would pay to lose, and you're like, nah, I'm all right. And you go in there and you get bit by the snake, you eat the wrong stuff, you barely make it out alive, if you do. Liquidations, you know what I mean? And all you had to do is just say, you know what, I'll pay you for the, you know, to hang out with me for the couple days and take me through the forest and teach me, or maybe for a week, you know? Heck, you could stay with me for a year for less than it cost for one college credit. One college credit at St. John's University was like $2,800, $2,500, I believe, for one class, I remember. That wasn't in the books or the other stuff you needed, and I think sometimes it might have been more depending on the actual subject matter. I think it went up to $3,600. I could be wrong. Pretty sure it was $4,600 for one course, and that's just one semester. You know what I mean? There was 2 semesters, so now, like, my whole point is, for a year of learning, $999, right? And if you use like the discount and you get in on like, you know, on Cyber Monday and all that fun stuff, and Black Friday, it's even less than it's like $260 a day or so. It's less than $3 a day. So I want people to get an education. My education is golden. I worked hard creating it for 20 years, sitting here letting my brain figure it out. And I want you to be able to trade with confidence. I want you to know when price action's exhausted. I want you to know when it's likely going to move. Look, it's a simple game, folks. You buy near the 21, you sell when you're away from it. You buy near the 21, you sell when you're away from it, or you wait with stop losses at break even from the buy, and you see what else you can get out of the trade if you desire. The key is to always protect the purse. I have put my stop loss to break even this summer, I think about, 100 times. I've been stopped out at break even, I think about 10 or 15 of them. It's been for me, that's a vicious market, getting stopped out at break even a lot. You know what I mean? Oh, to me, that's great. I'm just preserving my capital, taking my shots. When I do lose, I'm losing a little bit. I'm not going hard. Every once in a while, I took a $1,000 hit a week ago. And I took a $2,000 hit like a week before that or something. But then I made 10K in a week, and I made the 2K back the next day. And you know what I mean? And I fought through, and I made the other loss back and some. So I've just been kind of sitting through this market and making my moves. This would be so beautiful. In about 6 hours from now, you hold shift and go sideways. You get off of the drawing tool. You need to be on plus. And, it says 4 to 6 hours. We're going to have ourselves a possible beautiful flag, whether it's downward flag, sideways flag. It would be really bullish if we stay above the yellow line. And that's simple, folks. This is what I would do. I wouldn't do anything else until the 1 hour shows me it's time to get busy. Now, there could be some scalping on the small time frame. Throughout all this, I'll delete my drawings. I'm Simon, and I like to make drawing. I like to draw drawing. But look, could we get this move here on the 1 minute time frame? 1 minute looks horrendous. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, up and down. The 1 minute is going to chew you up. There was the model. There was the model. Look at my model, man. It's so pretty. There it is again today. 21 above the 200. Boom. It's kind of was the model here again, too, in a little bit of a way. Not amazing, but there's the 21 above the 200. I don't understand. It's literally like lighting a match. Like when the match hits the matchbook, boom. When the 21 hits the 200, it lights the match. And then, boom, the fire starts. We get the pump. Bitcoin getting a little pumpy, keeping me inside the trade, telling me there's still a chance. So there's still a chance over here. We can extend this trend line. Being creative in trading is amazing. It's fun because I tell everyone, they're like, why would you move they go pattern traders at work. You see those pattern traders? I've heard the snickers. I think I've said it before too. I think that's why I know what they say because I think I've said it. So look, he just moves the pattern all the time. He just changes it. That's the pattern now. And what I tell people is this is just like playing chess. We have no idea what the guy's going to do on the other side of the board. If we did, we'd be psychics, and then we'd be know-it-alls, and know-it-alls end up liquidated, I'll tell you that. Know-it-alls have a problem. They know it all. They don't need to learn anything. Because they don't need to learn anything, they don't. Interesting, right? That's why my buddy, he made this album, and he called it The Beginner's Mind, and one day I was like, hey, why is that? Like, what is Beginner's Mind? And he's like, you don't know? He's like, dude, I studied under the Wu-Tang master, like the guy who Wu-Tang called Wu-Tang. Like there was a Shaolin monk in New York City down in 14th Street who studied Kung Fu, and you could, and my buddy was one of the lucky people to study under him. Shaolin, man, and beginner's mind. And he said he taught us to always have a beginner's mind. Right now, I'm a beginner. I know nothing about trading. I'm just a baby. I'm just starting out. And that doesn't mean I don't have confidence in what I've done. Doesn't mean I don't build on where I am. It means every single day I take the charts as if I've just started out. I don't tell myself I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I don't breathe, a conceited belief that I'm awesome because of all my past wins. Just because I, found Bitcoin early, did some cool investing, got a YouTube channel, and look fresh online every day doesn't make me cool. Do I look fresh? I don't know. I threw that in there, No, but the thing is, regardless, the whole point of the story is that I'm saying as I take you away from the chart for a split second inside of your mind, is that it's just about, looking at it from a new perspective every single day and believing a beginner's mind, believing you're a beginner. A beginner can always learn. Someone who considers themselves an expert is done. Like, you're an expert. What do you know? And I love Niels Bohr, and I haven't said this in a while, but an expert is simply somebody that has made every single mistake in a narrow field. People would call me a trading expert, I guess. I wouldn't even use the word, but some people might use that word for me. You know, he's an expert at it. He knows what he's doing. He's, you know, if you want to learn from him, he's the expert. An expert is simply someone that's made every single mistake in a narrow field. I've lost the money that you've lost times 10. I've made $1 million, lost it twice. You see what I'm saying? I had it and lost it 2 times. I had 880 once. I had 960. They weren't exactly $1 million. I was there, but I was dang close. I could sniff it. I could sniff 900 grand. I could sniff 100, you know, $1 million. And I didn't sell. And I watched my portfolios go back down to like 200 to 8, you know, one time I think from like, one time before that, I watched like 280 go back to 80 grand. At least I had 8, you know what I mean? But still, man, it's been a long time in crypto, a long road I've been in. And it's taken a long time to get where I'm at today. I'm telling everybody, it wasn't an easy road for me at all. At very, you know, there was so many times throughout my 30s, I thought I was never going to make it. I was just going to become a regular person and have a 30-year mortgage and just do, you know what I mean? Just kind of go about, you know, do the thing and just like, you know what? When that happens, you have to just make the best of it, because if you're a positive person, you know what I mean? But man, I knew something in me meant that something big was coming and I could do big things with my life and that I couldn't give up. I had to strive for something more. I can't explain it. Like, there was a voice in me like, you're meant for no, you can't do that. And I was like, why? Like, it's kind of crazy when your destiny is set, because you can fight your destiny all you want. It's going to start to make you sick when you don't do what you're, like, I was meant to be on this microphone here tonight, tonight, wherever you are in the world, but I was meant to be here. We were meant to trade together. I was meant to have fun with the microphone, you know, motivate the world, stay positive, speak about God. My relationship with God, what happened to me, my mom dying, my dad dying, how I was brought into the light while I was basically crumbled. Like I was, you know, the greatest joys of my life, being with my mom, was taken from me in a second. She died in a coma in 5 days. She sat there lifeless. I could hear her heartbeat. Her body was in great shape. She fought so hard. Such a beautiful woman, such a beautiful person. May God bless my mom, Daisy. Irene Price, man. I love Irene, man. She was so sweet. So kind, so loving. One of the most loving, kind people you would ever meet in your entire life was my mom. Took a lot for, you know, she basically didn't talk bad about anybody. You know, unless someone was a creep, she could be like, oh, that guy was kind of creepy. Like, it's the only thing she ever really said about somebody, but like, and that was in private to protect her own daughters and her family and her own, you know what I mean? But for the most part, man, my mom was just light, love, and happiness. She stayed on positive energy. She loved everybody of every color. She denounced racism. She denounced any type of hate. She worked for the city. She was a Boston school teacher. She worked to help young kids that were in reading recovery, that were abused and were having trouble in school. They would come to my mom's office and have a private class with her where she would calm them down, read to them, basically become a, you know, she was therapy, man. She was a therapist in many ways. She saw so many things she never told me. I learned one story that I can't even repeat on this channel because I think it's like so, like, it's so extra, you know what I mean? It's just not. But wow. I wish I could even kind of relay it, but I don't even think I could do that. But when I heard this story, it was so horrible. It was, I had never even thought this was possible, you know? Anyway. My mom had helped so many kids through trauma in her life. And when she left that school, too, she got this book like a couple years later. All the people that thanked her said, you know, when I was alone and knew you were the nicest person to me. All the, you know, when kids wrote her letters, I have a good life now, but I was off track. You know, I couldn't, you know, without you, I would never learn to read. Unbelievable. I said, Mom, you know, a lot of people got a paycheck, but you had a paycheck with a purpose. You changed people's lives, you know? I remember I got to say that to her in the last few years. And her last summer, my wife was like, I'm going to California. Or no, I'm going to, I think she said she's going to go to Connecticut with her family. They're all going to have this like hangout. And I said, I got to go be with my mom, you know. I just had this, like, you know, my dad had passed. My mom was alone. Said I got to go spend time with my mom, you know. And I spent some time with my mom. And it was the last week I would ever spend with my mom on the island, like in the summer like that. And I took her out to dinner, and of course she her last summer, they think she got bit by ticks. They thought she had Lyme disease. She had to take all the Lyme stuff. and stay out of the sun. So like it's a beautiful July and August, and she's like, and she still walked, you know, knowing who knows, 4 months later she was gonna have a stroke. She walked all the way with me to a beach, which was like a 3-mile hike down this little pathway that was steep, you know, not easy at all for the average person would complain. Even a regular person in good shape in their 20s would be like, it's a good walk. And she sat on the beach under an umbrella, and I swam, and it was one of my favorite beaches. And I had a day with my mom. I'm not going to break down. God bless you all, man. But, you know, create that relationship with your parents if you can. Me and my mom were best friends. No, I'm not going to do that. Me and my mom were best friends. We really were. We were just kindred spirits meant to be around each other. Like, it was so easy to be around her. It was like, I can't explain it. You know, the only other person are my kids and my wife. My sisters too, you know. But something special about my mom. Look at this. This is a head and shoulder pattern, folks. Doesn't look amazing. You know, that's sketchy business right there. Looks like we may be coming back down. They may come get me. We'll see. We'll see. It's a fun day to trade, right? Back and forth here for Bitcoin. But that 1 minute is a head and shoulder. Doesn't look amazing. I'd stay away from the small time frames today. I really would. And I've been saying that a lot recently, and it's been making me money. Because they've been choppy and just going after people that I think are inexperienced. I think once you're experienced, you take a look at the market and you can kind of see, compared to normal, the order books are light. It's a little, you know what I mean? All we need to do is just get this 21 to come touch price before, you know, and stay above the 200, and we're gold. We're gold. Maybe even, you know, stay above a trend line, you know, something like this too. And again, I like I said, it looks like we have 4 to 6 hours for this to occur, and then we can get a bigger move to the upside. So that's what I see happening for BTC. Let's take a look at our buddy Ethereum, which has been interesting. I've been going over ETH every day now because it's been fun. There's been something going on. Look at this. Ethereum to me looks like something's brewing. I mean, it's in even right here. That's a pretty interesting shape. It could break out. Now, it could also break down. I get it. It's a symmetrical triangle. They can be bearish, you could say. But shoulder, head, right shoulder, I feel like defied by the double bottom breakout. Bitcoin finds its bottom, gets a huge pump. Ethereum follows like a shadow. You know that. You know, and then Ethereum, ETH BTC, because if ETH goes from 1900 to 2000 or 21, that's a huge, that's 1/8 its price. 8 times, or 1/9. 9 times 2 is 18, So it's, a little under 10%, a little over 10%. So the point is, and Bitcoin ain't going to do 10%. It's going to do maybe like 4 to 7. And that's where you get the ETH BTC move. And that's where you can make more Bitcoin on Ethereum. Like you can there's called a BTC ETH trade. And I'm going to show you in a second. I don't think a lot of people know this. And this is how people get really rich. They sit here for years and they just focus on the amount of Bitcoin they have. They don't care about the price. And they just trade BTC pairs. I did it on and off for a long time. I'm probably going to do it again. This ETH, like right now, if I were to chuck 1 Bitcoin into ETH Bitcoin right now, I'll show you in a second. But look, ETH BTC on the daily looks interesting to me. Looks like it's converging. These would eventually get tight. Eventually, we're going to get the cross. And it's going to take some time, but I wouldn't be surprised if a few weeks from now, somewhere by the end of September, Ethereum is around $2,400, right? Shoulder, double bottom for sure. Broke up. To me, that's like the measured move, and a little bit of resistance because this is where you had, the last support zone. So you're going to have, you bounce on that. You come to here. You have some trouble. You come down, you break through that. You bounce. And then, your next level is here. And you got a gap in the VRVP being. You got a gap in the VRVP being. You already gapped from this one back to the top from the value area lows. You did it. You fell through the gaps. This one, ding, you hung out. Fell through this. Look at the gap. Look how fast you move. And you move up pretty fast when you have a gap. Look how, that's a pretty big move in the gap. Straight up, little sideways, straight up. So you want to learn how to use what's called the VRVP on the right side here in conjunction with price action on BOOKMAP. BOOKMAP's going to show you liquidity. And so you put these two things together And you can start seeing like, okay, look, 65,300, right? Anyway, we'll you know, we got Ethereum here too. So look, it's got a liquidity bar up there at 20,030. And you can see right here, a lot of resistance. This bar right there is at 20,069. You see? This point of control. Like, and it lines up with this area here of liquidity right there on Ethereum. See if I can get them to like, no. Microsoft, can I just do what I want with my Windows? But it won't let me. Anyway, that will line up with that area, you know? Oh, if I move it down, I could move this down. Hold on. But see how that lines up with that area right there. The point of control. And so you're starting to kind of what's called read liquidity. And you're using, you know, and this is important. This is, we don't just look at the charts and patterns. We understand why the patterns are sending us where they're going, how the patterns were made with the liquidity, who they're going after, where there's the most stop losses and why. And we counter trade the herd all the time here on the channel. So look, there's that 3 to 4 days of sideways price action, the huge pump to the upside, rejection at the 200, then it's going to do its thing. The 21 is going to have to recover. And then we see when the real game happens. And I believe it will take a little longer than that. But, man, 2,400 for Ethereum looks to me like it's coming. And it's coming fast. I like this beautiful double bottom here. You know, we had it before a little bit, but more like a kind of divergence that got thrown off. Massive rejection here. That's going to be our big play. We come at 2,400 one more time. So Ethereum looks good to me. So what was I saying before? ETH BTC. And you can find this pair anywhere. On any exchange. We, you know, usually you could double check though. And so like you look at this and you're like, okay, so what are you telling me? Well, you're saying, well, if you believe that Ethereum's going to beat up on Bitcoin over time, you can plop 1 BTC in here, right? If Ethereum gets up to here, man, you never know, but you know, bang, that 1 Bitcoin turns, you know, gets a return on 1.79%. You sell that for more Bitcoin. It's kind of crazy. You know, 100% is a double up. That's almost 2 times your Bitcoin right there. And that's Bitcoin. You get what I'm saying? And the market moves up. And the people that are doing this over time never stash the dollar at all. So they just kind of skip right over inflation. Yes, they have the volatility of Bitcoin, the ups and downs. But if they plan on stashing it, I believe, for 10 years, then any method of farming it, in my humble opinion, is a win. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as such. So there's people that technically make almost more money than the miners off of Bitcoin by trading it. And they get obsessed with BTC pairs. This was kind of the trend back in 2019, 2020, 2017, 2018. If you had a good guru, someone teaching you, they were saying, hey, focus on your BTC amount in your wallet. Don't focus on the USD pair. Like, that's a lot. The USD pair is going to come and go. Like, that's just it's going to say it's worth this much at any given day because of the dollar. When they print more of it, you're going to lose all that, you know, that ability to see the value. I said, don't look at value like that. Look at value as how much Bitcoin you have. And that's an important concept because a lot of people didn't see that at the time. They focus on, you know, I talked about it too. I talked about a guy, let's say in 2000, 2 people in 2017, and you gave them both 10 grand. And they both traded it up to 100,000. One guy traded up to 100,000 Tether, and one guy traded up to 100,000, and then maybe right before the end he bought Bitcoin, or he used the Bitcoin pairs, and he ended up with like the equivalent of 100 grand in Bitcoin. And at the time, let's just say Bitcoin was 10,000, so we ended up with 10 Bitcoin. Okay. And then let's just, sad to say, they both were in a car accident. You know, sad. I don't even like the story. Something happens where they're in a coma. They both wake up 10 years later, and they go to see their wallet. This guy still has 100 grand, which now 10 years later is probably worth like 60, maybe even 45. You know what I mean? With the price of goods, the thing, you know, the world has changed. You know, gold is $3,000 an ounce. It was like 1,200 when he went to sleep. You know what I mean? So a lot of stuff has changed. This guy wakes up and let's say Bitcoin's where it's at today, 60,000. He's sitting on 600 grand. At the height, had he known, or, had he woken up, right now, he would be sitting on 1.2 mil, right? Double that, basically. Off 10 grand. They made the same trades, maybe even. But one guy used the USD pair. One guy used the Bitcoin pair. The whole point, and this is a kind of a story of store of value. It's a really good story. I used to tell it on the stream a lot, I haven't told the story in like 3 years ago. I made the story up, obviously. It's a made up story. But I used to tell this a lot, I think a couple times a month. And it's been a long time since I brought it up. This show was based on the long-term ideals of Bitcoin. And then we started live trading. But this is the idea behind Bitcoin, is that it's a beautiful store of value over time. I haven't seen anything beat it, really. Classic cars, there's a few things here and there that will have their time against Bitcoin, but for the most part, no. So look, let's be honest with ourselves right now. I see a shoulder head, right? That's a head and shoulder pattern. So that to me is doing something like we were looking at before. Is that going to bounce? Fake, definitely a fake out. And that's a head and shoulder that looks like they're going to come take me out. I'm just going to stay there and hang out. $200 isn't going to make or break me. It is a good to compound to win. 200 here, 200 there, 200 there. It's not a loss. There's nothing wrong with it. Covers fees, gets you going, keeps you in the game. That looks bearish to me. I see shoulder, head, right shoulder on the small time frames. You're always getting signals. As I said I didn't finish that thought, you're playing chess. So when I'm playing against someone, when I'm playing chess against someone, I don't say, this is exactly what they're going to do. I'm going to move my rook to the right on the next move because that's a guaranteed what they're moving. That's like saying, you know what? They're definitely going to pump this price. I'm going to open up a long no matter what at 8 p.m. tonight. I don't do that. I think there's times I've done that where I told myself when the long was going to happen. Never, I don't do that ever again. I look at the price action. I ask myself what I see. And if I see something that makes sense, I go for it. That's it. It's really that simple. And if I see a model that I've been working on that I've back tested and studied, I take the model. If I don't see something I've back tested and studied and the liquidity looks light, there's days that are very hard to trade. Thursdays after 2 o'clock p.m. tight. Fridays can have some volatility in the morning, a little volatility maybe at 4 p.m. when the market closes. But the afternoon, 12 to 3, and the night, 8 to 10, 8 to 1 in the morning, they can be very, very light. Saturdays can have low volume, but crazy pumps. The last 4 out of the last 6 Saturdays, we've had some movement, or just on the weekend, maybe sideways on Saturday, but we have the pump. We've been getting some good pumps every Sunday at 6 p.m. when the CME opens. Even though they said that we're 24/7, they just haven't. The markets still are moving the market at that time because that's when the big boys get in. They're not going to just change That's when they saddle up. They're saddling up at the same time, despite the 24/7 market. They're like, we're in control. You can tell us when the market changes, but we still run the market. So, but again, it's been kind of good for us. I've been sitting in trades all weekend, and then I look at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and I'm like, oh my goodness. Gains. We woke up in gains this morning. We woke up in gains yesterday. Not amazing. I'm not saying it's the hottest thing ever, but we didn't lose. This thing still could bounce. I know I just said head and shoulder, but that means I'm not closing this and shorting. I said I'm going to sit inside with my stop loss in the money. Look, I'll be right there. 57,777s. There we go. 57,777, 5 sevens, 5 777s. I have this uncannily open-mindedness to just, and if I get stopped out, I'm cool. I'm so cool with that. They come and get me, I'm like, cool. Lost trend line, I'll reassess. I'm looking for that 1 hour to do its thing. Remember, if the 1 hour comes down and makes the downward flag, then this will get stopped out. And that's still bullish to me. So the big picture, you always got to remain open to the big picture. And that's why we do our top-down analysis. So we're not stressed out on one little thing. If we stuck on one thing and we just couldn't move from anything else, That would be, it's like, oh, no, we're going to look at the 1 minute and the 1 minute only. And that is it, This Saturday is the 1st of August. Again, Crypto Archie with 28 likes, man. God bless you, brother. 2 legends on one stream. Thank you so much. Based. What if going for 50 mil? Wow, absolutely crazy. What if going nuts? Somebody just said. Almost. I mean, yeah, 1, 2. It was hot right there for a second, almost at that 12 million. It did break out the flag. I mean, the 21's above the 200. So I would extend this now. And there's two scenarios here. One that we're making a bit, a bigger consolidation, which would actually be more bullish for it if it continues to pump. There's going to be a bigger crash, right? If it can slow down here and some whales will take some profit, and new people will say, "Ooh, I can get in now." They don't want to chase the top, so smart money can kind of gobble, people that really think about it, gobble the bottom trend line, and that will consolidate. So I'm looking for something like this here. Maybe it continues to just rip out of nowhere. I'm not saying there's kind of a nice, but that would also be this would be a cup and a handle. What you would be doing too is you'd be looking for a mini fib here. Somewhere down to this 786 that matches up with the bottom of that trend line. Even the 618, I know it's messy, if you can bear with me there. I tend to draw a lot. I get into it, I'm kind of like a mad scientist with it. But I need you to see, I'm a visual learner. And I guess I'm a visual teacher too. Like I could say so many things and I could just circle and really convey what I mean, right? So, 577777, you're funny. Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation. Hit that like button. Thank you so much, Nightbot. God bless you. Thank you so much for being here. I think people are being funny right now. ADA is going crazy. If going for... are people being funny right now? ADA going crazy? It went from 14 to 17? I get it. If you haven't seen ADA pump in a while, that's crazy. Up a penny. Yeah, I mean, hey, it got above the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. Yes, ADA just, never going to stop. What if this is your destiny? What if Lifer got some what if? Someone should send me some, you know what I mean? Let me get down. So send us your wallet. We'll send you some what if right now. Will you? Dude, I see this headed to the 200 moving average. There's a chance Bitcoin just finally bottoms. The coolest thing about Bitcoin is the war news doesn't really do much anymore. People don't care about it. They used it so much that now they can't use it anymore to mess with as much, Thank you, Archer, for introducing this amazing person, Crypto Lifer. Wow, Mo Gaines, God bless you, man. And thank you, man, for expanding my entire community. I hope I did the same for you. And that's cool, bro. If your business helps other businesses, then you have a real business. Because that means you're in for the long haul. A shady in and out business can't help other businesses. It's in and out, it disappears. But when you actually help other businesses grow through your business, you're in what's called an ecosystem role. You basically play part of the flow state. I talked about this the other day. Money goes like this. It comes in, channels into people, and some people are dams, just like liquidity. Sometimes money hits some people. They just keep saving under a mattress. They don't buy much. They hoard it. And money can't move from this person. So money eventually leaves this and tries to find a new way, and eventually just stays here and doesn't really do much. And it comes back, and then it tries to find the people. Now, a really successful business owner, let's say he owns 5 restaurants. You know how much stuff he has to buy every week? He has to restock. He has to buy aprons. He has to have all the tablecloths cleaned. So he has to pay for a dry cleaner, right? So now there's a big dry cleaner company, and they have, 500 of these guys and all these, and they make big money. You see? And so money flows to him because he makes money at the restaurant. He uses the money to pay this guy, to pay now all these people. He has 15 servers at one restaurant. Let's just say he has 5 of them. He has 15 servers at 5 restaurants. That's 75 people that come every day to make money off of what he created. Then he has chefs, all this other stuff. My whole point, you know what I mean? Think of how much money. So when you entrepreneur and you build, and then you take a little off the top, right? You make, you create an income for yourself. Maybe one day you could sell the business to someone else as it's running, and then you can make the residual of that. Like, there's so many ways to do it once you start rocking and grinding. And money likes to flow to these type of people. Look at me, like every day I'm live 7 days a week, right? And I'm educating online. Boom, boom, boom. I'm trading. I'm making money through many different ways of revenue. And then boom, I go out, I tip somebody. I buy, something. I redo a bathroom, or I do all this stuff, and money flows, right? I'm not a Scrooge. I tipped someone big the other day. Next thing you know, boom, someone tipped me big the other day. You know what I mean? Someone came in and tipped me big. Look at this. I got, dang near $200 in super chats right now. Like, why? Because I'm a nice guy and I do nice things. People are nice to me. I don't stress it. I always believe that good things are coming. I always believe that God has beautiful plans for me and that great opportunities are right around the corner. My next biggest trade is right there. Cardano looks bullish. I mean, look at that. It's like the double inverted head and shoulder with a nice pump. Looks like it's going to head to that 12-hour 200 moving average over time. Huge pump on Cardano. Wow, the 1 hour looks strong too. I would watch the 5 minute. It may continue a little more, but I would look to see if the 5 can create a flag. The entry would be the 5 touches the 21, and there's looks like there's some more action there. Bitcoin looks like it's going to pump out of this now to the upside and defy the head and shoulder. I'm going to stay long with my stop loss at 5777. Funny, right? In profit too. And $20 in, $20 out, or 17 in, 20 out. Funding fees of $250. I'll basically be a little bit above. I'll make like $5 or something now. Hey, I won't lose, right? I ain't giving my money away. I'm stacking it. Let's take a look at what's happening today. At 8:30, we had core PCA and unemployment claims. Let's see how they came in. At 8:30 this morning. It's crazy. I woke up at 8:20 today. Never usually do that. I had a deep sleep. And it's one of my last nights here on the island. I could understand my body's going through some changes. And look, I said that we're going to beat it based on last data, and it was true. Personal income, though, down month over month. All right. Personal spending, though, down a little bit. But, pretty close to forecast. And was way down previously, So that's better than it was before. And unemployment claims, nice. That's bullish, man, for the NASDAQ and the S&P. Let's take a look at the S&P. I kept saying it was going to bounce. It didn't look amazing. But I said I see a bounce coming. I don't know if people believe me. I said this whole thing's going to turn back around. You're going to see a bigger move. So we're looking for something like this. It's going to bounce back to the top of this channel. They're going to send it up. Another perfect buy for the NASDAQ. This has happened so many times. These dips are just creating opportunity for big companies to scoop up more shares while the dollar loses value. They can't sit in the dollar as they continue to print money. So what's going to happen? I mean, this is going to boom. So softening with the Iran war, right? A heavy softening. Like they're not really, they're trying not to even talk about it as much, trying to downplay it a little bit. And wow. A higher low. That closes today. That's going to be a beautiful higher low. I think front running that with a stop loss below this wick here. See that wick right there? Let me show you what I'm saying. This wick right here is ideal. A little, it would have been nice right as it started to turn green to front run it. I wasn't paying attention to the S&P as much as Bitcoin. But I'd be looking for a higher low bounce here for BTC. Back to the upside to this channel. And then some sideways price action. And it looks like we get a bump, I don't know, mid-October, late October. This thing starts to kind of turn for us. And we get out of sight. August and September are going to be choppy. It usually is. And that's kind of what it's telling us as well. S&P looks bullish to me. Nice bounce back to the upside for the S&P. And I was like a little, I was overly bullish there. NASDAQ, see what the NASDAQ did was kind of like, the NASDAQ is going to have to recover in a bigger way here. What I like about the NASDAQ is you're kind of, use the daily, put that stop loss kind of below the 200 moving average, and only gives you 1.7. It's not my favorite. I think Bitcoin's going to give us some better trades, but I do see the NASDAQ breaking back to the upside. Have to bring the stop loss like right below the you have to basically front run the candles, believe that those candles are going to hold. I believe there's an 80% chance that this inverted head and shoulder come back to the up, and then we're doing this. So my call on the NASDAQ. So it's what I'm looking at very, very closely. Okay. For the nasty Nas. What do you think? Are you trading the NASDAQ or do you stick to Bitcoin? Is it worth it? Do you think it's just like you just like to trade one asset, or do you look at the setups I give you and trade the best setups? I think it's smart. I think we're loyal to the setups. We trade the best setups. I feel more comfortable with Bitcoin. I trade Bitcoin the most, but I'll trade anything. I'll trade oil. I'll trade gold. Lately, I forget to look at them as much as I should. I should look at oil and gold every morning. I'm going to kind of start including them in the morning update for you guys. Just, you know what I mean? Or maybe just adding. It's a lot, though. I want to make sure I'm nailing Bitcoin pretty nice, and then we go from there. So Bitcoin 64,670, kind of struggling now. Not looking amazing. Where's that trade? Where is that trade? I can't find the trade. I can't find it. Jamie, find the trade. Jamie, find the trade. No. Wow, out of nowhere, it took that. Things were looking nice. We were pumping. Looked like we were going to really start to kind of make it out of ring. Now it looks like a complex head and shoulder, does it not? Shoulder, head, shoulder, kind of mini shoulder. Hey, I'm covered no matter what happens. I'm scot-free. They bounce back up here. I may be able to get in and double up. Comes down here, kicks me out. Then they bounce it back. I double in. I get in again. I got a bunch of defense plans no matter what happens here. All right. And tomorrow I fly out. Today's my last day to get everything ship shape in my house. And it's an Airbnb, so I will be going over that a lot. And, when I got a lot on my mind, I don't overtrade. I've learned my lessons. I've learned that. So I'm just going to be light on it, look at price action, and I'm ready in case we get a massive pump to the upside. Travel basically on a red eye. Sam, it's great to buy Bitcoin spot and use it to trade instead of using. Yes, you can do that, but, do whatever makes you happy. I'm not a financial advisor, so if you choose to do that, that's on you, though. I don't want to say I told you to do that, right? What if spot listing confirmed sign market maker exchange? That's crazy. You may be making. I don't know if this is true, Bear. He could be making a. Don't listen to that stuff, guys. He could be just saying that. Get some Santarpios. Oh, isn't that crazy that they have Santarpios at Logan? It's funny you said that, bro. I saw that and freaked out because my dad used to go out of his way. Oh, I'll bring home Santarpio. Oh my God, crypto broker, stock broker, bank broker, break it all. You're funny. I like that. Confirm sign. Man, you're funny, man. The FEBU meme showing up on the timeline. Will you look at it? Same thing happened to him in January. FEBU? I'll take a look at it on my own here on the left side. 11.5, man. What if is getting very high, back to its all-time high. It's about to make an all-time high, possibly here live on the show. Look at that thing climbing. That will be, if that closes, it will be the biggest candle close on the 15-minute in its life, you see? Right now, it's the biggest candle. We've wicked above it, but it will be the biggest candle close. This thing looks bullish. We went over the idea that it's breaking out of this flag, right? Other idea was that it may come down to the bottom, but that thing looks like a breakout. And then we took the measured move from the top of this to the bottom of that candle here. And it says we're going somewhere to about 1789, right? Which that's like lines up with a $17 million market cap. And this thing we found it at 460. I mean, it's right now it's got a 22x and more, maybe even like a 26 at a 10, 11 point. Yeah, I know, at 24x when I did the math from 460 mil. First meme on Robinhood, so it's getting some traction. People know about it. You can download the Robinhood app with your phone. You see what I'm saying? The wallet, and then you can kind of start doing things. So it's right there. They make it simple and easy. And it's probably the most accessible. So there we go, man. So yeah, it looks good to me. I like what I'm seeing here for BTC. I would love it if it comes back to the 21 and does that thing, but it's likely going to flag out. Now, if you're really looking for it, see, this moves just like Bitcoin, folks. No different. Once it gaps away from the 21, it's going to want to move towards the 21. Once the stochastics get high, they're going to reset. That was a beautiful pump. A lot of money came into IF. As it gets bigger, it's going to absorb this buy pressure. People are going to sell a little bit off. But if people believe in it, less people are going to sell, more people are going to get more curious. And right now, it has more momentum than it had before with a stronger market cap. So the probabilities are higher than it was even when no one was talking about it. You see what I'm saying? So that's, you got to put that on the radar there for what if. Shout out to my July traders, man. Shout out to my lifers. Shout out to all the new people in the trading group. I looked at the numbers today. I was like, wow, man. A lot of new people jumped on in. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. One Love Teacher would love to hear some more stories about the popular MCs from NY. Funny. I mean, I got to meet Raekwon. My sister was doing like a little like documentary. I shouldn't say little, but she was hooked up with someone that said we need a cameraman. It's low key. It's not big budget, but it could lead to something big. And you would basically be with Raekwon for about a 3-month period, and you watch him as he's growing his new artist and his new label, ICE H2O out of Toronto. And he had stuff that he was doing in New York, and we were going to be the New York team to film. I wasn't told any of this. I was told just to get on the Staten Island ferry, and then I was going to Staten Island for $400 for the day, and I was going to do camera work. And there was potential for more camera work. So I was like, all right, and I had to wake up early, get on the train. I was like, dang, it was a lot. Kind of a cold day, get on the ferry, take the ferry over to Staten Island. And when I get up there, I get picked up by this dude that kind of looks like Raekwon. I don't really notice it at first, though, you know. And it's his brother, Kareem. Raekwon has a brother named Kareem. And they start telling me, and they tell me what's up. And then they bring me to a restaurant. I hang out. I meet Raekwon. I start hanging out with him. I start filming. He tells me, this is where my mom lived right there. She used to cook for the whole hood. She used to cook pies. He's like rice and beans. And she'd open her window and just... she'd give food to whoever she could, man. He said my mom was a blessing, one of the sweetest people you'd ever meet. He's like Parker Hill. They lived at Park Hill, you know, Method Man, Staten Island, man. And it's interesting. I grew up listening to Wu-Tang, of course, as a young kid. 1996, I was 13. They dropped hot, and I was the exact target market for, you know, hip hop at the time, early 90s. So I was, you know, I grew up, you know, in the hip hop era, man. And to meet him and hang out with him was so interesting. Then we actually went across the Verrazano Bridge and we did some unmentionables that, you know, that together that, you know, I won't say now, but, and it was kind of surreal. It was like, is this really happening? And I'm sitting there with the disco biscuit with my man, Raekwon. So true story, facts of my life. Also hung out with Stephon Marbury. He was good friends. Basically, he had started dating one of my friend's sisters. A guy that I started, you know, or not even a business partner. I started behind the scenes internet business with, back when behind the scenes internet was just getting started back in 2009, 2008. YouTube wasn't even that old. You know what I mean? This stuff was just getting started. It was like, we were on the cusp. DJ Vlad was showing up where I was showing up. Literally, I'm not lying. Like, I would show up somewhere, DJ Vlad was there with his camera. He was looking at us like, who are these guys? Now he's a multi-million, you know, I could have went that way, the way he went. I had eventually went into the world of finance and Bitcoin and all that. Interesting. But I was doing behind the scenes of, like, you know, and I became good friends with Twister. You know, the rapper Twister, really good guy. Carl, nice guy. I became good friends with Stephon Marbury. I started hanging out with Stephon Marbury like a couple times a week. It was weird. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. So I guess, he heard the story. Unmentionables. He's so funny, right? So, you know, and that, I mean, these are true stories, man. You know, facts. Facts. You know, it's like I hung out with some of the greatest, you know, me and Jadakiss became good friends. There's a video of me and Jadakiss online where he gives me his phone number, man. We bleep out the phone number and all that. We had to edit it out. But, like, Jadakiss is like, yo, man, you know, give me your phone. And it's so crazy, right? I was doing a lot of behind the scenes of hip hop. I loved hip hop. I was a rapper too. I had my own album. I was trying to get in there. I was, I didn't do the best job, but I was working my way. Wouldn't let me in a show once. They said I would, got me in a bar lot. Me in the hospital. Thanks. You're funny, man. RZA, man. Sam would know who RZA. Of course, RZA. I think I saw RZA a couple times. I don't think I never met him. Wow. And there's What If, man. It goes for the all-time high, folks. There it is. Biggest candle for What If in history. We're watching it live right now on the stream. And I know it's just a meme, but man, it can start with a meme. Remember Pepe brought the entire market back? Pepe started when the bear market was nil. Pepe started doing something out of control. And people had to pay attention. Listen, this is an old story to us. We've been watching this for 2 weeks now. But to the rest of the world, this is brand new. They're just like, what? What's going on with this new look? $12 million market cap for What If, folks? Nope. There we go. If Jada thinks you're cool enough to give him his number to you, you got to be one hell of a guy in person. I chill with Ray and Redman backstage one night. Ray would tell you to mention that, we don't need no video, nothing but a flow. My man, shout out to Chris, 777s. I'll listen to your album. Some songs are fire. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You can hear like a little bit of a Wu-Tang. Wow, there it is now. We just crossed the all-time high. That candle hit the highest we ever saw. And again, it's the 21 above the 200. It's the exact same thing that we do every single day here on the channel, folks. We're not changing anything. And Bitcoin also got the pump. We got the pump for Bitcoin 333. As I looked, we were up to almost 3133 with 333. Shout out to my lifers, man. Sam is in control yet again, maintaining with a stop loss at break even. The 21 near the 200. Things are starting to look up for Sammy here. We may get the pump. The lifer wins again. The last few weeks have been amazing on the channel. Put a 333 if you made gains trading with the lifer. I stayed long here. Look at the pump out the falling wedge. Falling wedges break up 68% of the time. Stochastics were low. If you just stick to those two fundamentals and keep your head on straight, and then previous resistance was support. Look, you had massive resistance here. Beautiful candle right there. Beautiful, that's a flag and a half. Pumps to the upside. And again, they're going after the shorts and the longs on the small time frames. We're just sitting pretty. I've been in this trade since last night. So the guy that sits with patience is the guy that wins, man, the $500 to $2,000 a day. You see me making $1,200, $5,000, $500 to $2,000 a day the last few weeks. Just taking it. Waking up to gains, going to sleep, setting trades, waking up, 700, taking it, setting another trade, 500, taking it, another trade, 1,200. We're having fun. Man, we're not fading ourselves here. We're having a blast, and life is good. Man, we're just trading day in and day out. And again, every morning I wake up, I do the same analysis. Every night before I go to bed, I do the same analysis. Some days I'm tired. Some days I want to just shut off my computer. I don't feel amazing. I do it anyway. It's not about, some people say it's about discipline. You got to have discipline. Some people say it's about motivation. I'm locked in. Like, I'm a computer. I'm going to do it whether I don't even know. I don't have to feel anything. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go down. If I'm upstairs and my computer's downstairs, I'm just going to walk down there. And some days I have to pee. I tell myself I can't pee until I get the update done. I do that to myself. I'm like, dang, man. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you got to hold your pee. So you got to go do Bitcoin update. You can't pee until you get that done, man. Right? And I force myself to get things done. No matter what. You got to get, I don't care if you got to trick you. I don't care what you got to say to yourself. You cannot be in the bottom, in the top, in the bottom 90% of people that say they're going to do things and never really get them done. 90% of people in the world say they're going to do things and never get them done. I'm telling you right now. Only the top 10 and then the 5 are really exceptional people that really go after what they say they're going to be doing. When you meet someone that says they're there and they show up, they get it done, that's an exceptional person. I'm telling you right now. It seems like such a rare, it seems like such an easy trade, but it is rare. Someone who says exactly what they're going to do and shows you what's up. Talks about it, breaks it down. Those are blessed. You find someone like that, man. And that's why when people find people like that, they lock them in. And it's hard to find the best people because the best people are locked in, man. Especially when it comes to your house, doing stuff like that. Man. God bless everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. Let's take a look at the last 24 hours. Cardano did get a bit of a move there. 7%. I mean, you ain't lying. For a big coin, Cardano pushed off the bottom. Midnight, too, a little bit. Might be helping Cardano, but it's almost like they sold Midnight for Cardano. You see that? Maybe some people got free Midnight, and they did use it to cash in on Cardano. Wow, Bitcoin Cash finally getting a little bit of a move, but really the narrative for that completely died, especially when he had some issues. Happy that he's not locked up. He got that taken care of. I'm really happy to hear that because no one should be locked away for the rest of their life, you know. BNB 588, JDST, you know. Aster 60 cents, still kind of hugging that key level. Ondo 41, Bitcoin, all coins are still kind of drying up right now. Ethereum's looking hot. I think people are like, you know what? I'm going to sell this cruddy altcoin for some Ethereum. Ethereum's taking some market share. I'm telling you right now. I would pay attention there. So we're looking for the NASDAQ to come up, make a little bit of a right shoulder. It might not be that wide. It might be a little more narrow. But we are looking for this to be a bottom for the NASDAQ. Stop loss below the daily 200. Good chance you get a bounce here. Just a healthy retracement to an unstoppable pump that's about to happen. And people are like, how? It's the most hated rally ever. That will then do something similar, I believe. Have a pullback, go sideways, and pump again. And that takes us to like June of next year. And we're just like still inside this insane like money expansion. And they just keep printing money. They have to keep printing money. Don't you understand? Like this is just the beginning of the parabola. Round 2, man. You can't have a massive crash in value when you keep taking away what's adding value, when you keep adding the thing that's adding value. So like you keep printing more money. So like a notebook, they have to cut down a tree. You know, let's just go over a regular school notebook. Why? I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. But you know, a ring, because everyone had a notebook as a kid with the little metal rings, and you know, you got your notebook. And a notebook is $1.50. Let's just say in, you know, 2015. I don't know. Not going, you know, I could look all this up, obviously, with AI and have a nice data set for you. The idea is, but they keep printing money. Now, you still have to go cut down the trees. The cardboards, you know what I mean? They have to dye the you know, and sometimes they're blue, yellow, right? Different colors. Write your name on it. The paper's good quality. They have to put the blue, you know, they have the blue lines on every single piece of paper. My whole point is the value to make this hasn't changed. It might be a little quicker. There might be some more innovative tasks here and there. You know, AI might make it easier. Who knows? But for the most part, now it's like a $4. It's $4.75 now for this notebook because they keep printing money. And I think 10 years from now, the same notebook will be $8 to $10. You know, there's my beautiful $8 to $10 because they're going to continue to print money. So if you're a notebook company and you produce and you're making something and you go public, you know, your Office Max, whatever. I think they went out of business, funny to say, right? But you're something like that. You know, Staples. I think they went out of business too, didn't they? My whole point. So you're an office guy. You know, you sell office stuff, yeah, and you don't go out of business. The point is, you know, things are going to go up in value no matter what, man. And that if there's stock in that stock should go up because they continue to print money. But the stocks, you know, they haven't stopped selling notebooks. So if you think about it logically, there's no, you know what I mean? And we start to, you know, I just see that this looks like it's on a bigger run here. That could last almost already till like 2030, 2032. And then we could have, I think that's when we're going to get the 6, you know, we're going to run up till 20, you know, who knows? Again, this is all speculative. But this thing runs up to like 2030 and then boom. That's where we have like the 618 fib crash of a lifetime. Right? And like it's going to be tough. Like 2030, 2034. It's going to be a really good buying session, 2035, right? And then everyone's going to be freaking out. Maybe AI crashes, cyber, who knows? Something Swanee. You know, show me the charts and I'll show you the news. But it looks like we're in some type of money printing extravaganza here. Because you have to understand, it's about the next generation. See, We see what's happening, but if they can print money so fast onto the next generation, they'll never know what went on. You get what I'm saying? If they stop the money printing, they'll pay attention too much. So the money printing is the flow. It's almost the subliminal flow of the mind. Like they want to keep the mind so oblivious to what's happening. Got to keep printing that money. Got to keep providing the liquidity. Got to keep the engine going. We can't have anyone pay attention to how false this is. If we keep printing, they won't notice. You see what I mean? Now, I'll notice. The people that really want to sit and pay attention and stare at it for hours will notice. But I'm like rare. You're rare. There's very few of us. You know, that's why this channel should have, 10,000 people or more watching, and it doesn't. It's okay, and that's fine. I do something niche. Niche shouldn't be huge. But niche is beautiful. If you're niche, it's amazing. And again, look, fiat currency through time, right? The following list of currencies is a small sample of the fiat currencies throughout the past 1,000 years that have collapsed due to corrupt and incompetent monetary policymaking. Hyperinflation is one of the most common precursors to a fiat currency's collapse. Keep in mind, most of these currencies below collapse within the lifetime of most baby boomers today. So the lifespan of an average currency is only 35 years. Look at Peruvian, $100,000. A $10,000 ruble. $5 million a year. $10 million pango in Hungary, man. $1 billion mark in Germany. $1 billion. $100 trillion in Zimbabwe. They printed that money that you had to have a $100 trillion bill, man. This is true. Like, you can look all this up. Did they really make a $10 billion dinar in 1990 Yugoslavia? $5 million peso in this is 30 years ago, folks. Ukraine, oh my God. Turkey, 5 million, you know what I mean? Anyway, the list goes on and on. All right, basic still average lifespan of fiat currency, the data table. If your country's total debt to GDP, private to public debt, approaches or exceeds 200, there's a high probability your fiat currency will be buried in the fiat currency graveyard within your lifetime. And again, you take this with a grain of salt. There's other reasons why, too, that certain currencies went down. Some are maybe programmed to lose, you know what I mean? There's a whole story behind that, but you know what I mean. The point is, over time, they're going to continue to print this money to zero. We got to look at this in a big picture sense. Oh, wow, look at, they dumped it right after the pump. This is wow. Every time you rejoice a green candle, they dump it again on a red one. Vicious for the small time frames. I'm sitting pretty with very little invested with a break-even stop. I mean, I'm just like, and there's, how many people are just running in and out of trades right now? They're losing, then I'm getting back in. They're longing, then they're shorting, then their emotions are out of control. They're clicking the button in feverish mode, and I'm still up $200, just sitting. Might just take the 200 the way it's looking, but still looking for this bounce. I mean, we have really strong resistance here that could supply a bit of an ironclad, resistance for me. We'll see. Wow, what if went on a massive tear out of nowhere? I mean, not out of nowhere, but wow, it wicked up hard, folks. So now it's having an all-time high. It's holding a $12 million market cap. We can assume that it broke out, and we can assume that its target is high. 1.9 possibly here. And I'm sorry if you didn't get in the what if train, as it just takes off in front of us. And we talked about it yesterday, consolidating. I talked about it here. I kept saying, man, it's only a matter of time. I said, and I know it's a meme. I said, but I do TA, and the TA looks hot. Ivan was on, and that's why follow me on X, if you can. And shout out to everyone watching me today for the week's Token 2049 challenge. I greatly appreciate that. It's an awesome thing we're doing here. Jump on it. All right. And you can jump on it today. Check that out. It's absolutely amazing right there. Okay. And, the more you trade, the more you get back. But your future volume 10,000, 100 USD coupon and more and more. And then trial funds as well. Right. 3,000, get an early bird ticket. That's pretty crazy, which is $399 to Token 2049. Okay. And then 5 million, get that 500 USDT. All right. So there you go, folks. The Token 2049, that's going to be the 7th through the 8th of October. Unbelievable. 2 quick days. What an amazing, it's an amazing event. I wonder why 2 quick days, 7 through the 8th. Yeah. Usually I thought it was 3 days, but hey, 2 days is enough for these events. I'll tell you what, man, they are tiring. They are big. You walk around, you meet a lot. You meet so many people in 5 minutes, you can't believe it. Success begins the moment you stop waiting and start moving. Don't wait for perfect. Don't wait to feel ready. Start now. Every single time, man, you got to make it happen. The secret to success is getting started, folks. When are you going to start today that's going to change your life? It's right around the corner. You just don't know it yet. So close to break. Dude, I was a second away from making the idea of the Crypto Lifer show and starting streaming. But I didn't know that I was that close for my life to change. You know what I'm saying? I was on a night shift working, or I was working the job I was working. 2 years later, I would have a budding YouTube channel and I would be doing what I love to do. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I did not know that. So like that, you could be so close. So look at the old me. He was so close to something huge and didn't even know it. Had I given up, had I gotten depressed, had I hung out with the wrong people, done a bunch of, unmentionables, gotten drunk, started just doing the wrong thing, gave up on myself, said, yeah, you know what, why should you hung out with the people that didn't care, surrounded myself with nothingness, I could have went the other way. Anyone could go my way, anyone could go the other way. Anyone could be a really disciplined person, be a family man with three or more kids, do what you love to do with your life, run a business, show your kids that you go after what you believe in, and have a stand-up life. Anybody could do that, or anyone could be a drunk and a drug addict and change it and go the other way and never do what they say they're going to do, be a horrible father or friend, never be disciplined, sometimes do something, barely get there. If you're struggling in life, 100%, it's because you can't be consistent. You lack consistency. Every single successful person does not lack, what they don't lack is consistency. Some of them are rude. Some of them have things to work on. They're not perfect. Just because you're successful does not mean you have all the answers. That's one part of life figured out. Then you need to work on others. It's a constant process. No one is in 100%. The idea behind it all is, though, that you understand that the first thing you put out every morning is discipline. Gonna wake up and go at it. Wake up, and having a routine is so key, especially if you have, the quote-unquote ADHD, or if they've labeled you, you have extra energy. You need a focused place to put that energy so people can't use it against you, or you can't use it against yourself. When you're a highly energetic person, you can start clicking too fast online and then start going, your energy can kind of make you feel like you lack control of your focus. You don't. You just have so much energy, you need to really put it in the right place. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone tell you that you're a mess, because, and don't let people label you ADHD, bipolar, all that stuff. And again, I'm not trying to diagnose anybody. Do your own thing, but they tried to label me with all that stuff. They really did. And all I had to do was work out every day and listen to someone that didn't make, Jim Rohn said, Sam, you're making excuses for yourself. You're going to live a crappy life because, no offense, you're going to live a subpar life because you're not willing to put in the work. You know what discipline is. It's time to do it. Write it down, get it done. Jim Rohn made it really clear. He said, say you want to work out in the morning and you keep missing it. Well, that night, you put out the water bottle that you're going to fill right next to the water cooler. You put out the gym shorts, you lay them out. You put out the headband. You buy a new headband that, online, and when it comes, like your favorite color. I do stuff like this. I really do. When I'm a weirdo, but when I get excited, I buy a new headband, man. Sounds really corny. I like white headbands. I like baby blue headbands. I buy one of them. I put them out. I'll put it on. It gets me excited to go work out. It's so corny, right? It works for me, So Jim Rohn says you want to work out in the morning. The night before, put your workout. Write down the workout you're going to do. Go get the workout video you're going to actually do and put the link in your phone in the notes section and write workout for tomorrow. When you wake up the next morning, you look at everything, it's all there screaming at you. If you don't work out now, it's kind of like you denied the water bottle, you denied the shorts, you denied the new headband, you denied the link. And it's kind of like, you're really fighting yourself at that point. So if you want to get something done with your life, the night before, get it all ready, man, and do the preparation. And you'll be surprised the next morning, you'll just fall in line. Keep doing that. Within a month of that, you'll start to have a habit. Within 3 months, you'll have created a habit. Also, working out creates endorphins. Endorphins are a drug. Just like, anything else you do in life. You will get addicted to that drug. Working out will make you'll get addicted to it. It'll stick, you know what I mean? You will get addicted. You will get addicted. So, you can get addicted to going to the bar and hanging out with the wrong people. You can get addicted to going to the gym and hanging out with the right people. Seriously. Like there's going to be a reaction in the brain to everything you do. The more you do something, the more you're going to get addicted to it. That's just the human mind is we like repetitive stimulation. That's why people like their coffee day in and day out. They like that stimulation. They're into the coffee. You see how this works? So you can kind of train your brain for success through chemicals. And I learned this, Jim Rohn taught me this. And honestly, I want to write, I want to write. I got a couple books I want to write. And I have the name of them. They're going to be awesome. One of them's how I made mistakes through life and became successful. And the title is going to be hilarious, but I can't put out the title because it's so good. But it's basically going to show you how I never had all the answers. I just rolled into mistakes, but I learned from every one of them. And when people find my life story and see how I made it, they're not going to believe it. There's so many cool little secrets behind my life story I can't let out just yet. But I'm going to write that book, man, and it's going to come out maybe 4 years from now. I think it's got to take a little more time. But man, it's an amazing story. And it's a story of faith, perseverance. And there was a lot of times where I really, my wife was with me, but she was nauseous with the kids. When she gets pregnant, she gets nauseous and she's down and out. And then her dad was dying. And so she's nauseous with the baby. She's down and out. She's going through one of the toughest times of her life. And I'm sitting there starting my YouTube channel. And I'm outside building, I built a walkway from scratch out of brick and stone. I built a little, garden wall from stone. Had an absolute blast doing it. The walkway's still standing to this day, looking pretty good. The stone wall's slowly falling apart because it was hardscaped. I put no concrete in there, and it was being held on the side of a hill, kind of, a lot of rain keeps coming. Still looking for this bounce. I don't know. It does look shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. Previous support is resistance. And you know what? What's going to happen is we're going to as we head towards 12 o'clock, the volume's just going to get lighter and lighter. Right? Someone just paid to wait, presses towards Bitcoin 65 as treasuries out yield. Right? Carry trade for only second time on record. It's interesting. Bitcoin trading a tight band through both the Fed hold and Chair Kevin Warsh's press conference. Then edge higher as Thursday's data landed, a composure that stands out against the NASDAQ 100 in correction and a chip index in a bear market. For most of July, Bitcoin moves as leverage expression of the semiconductor trade. However, that grip has loosened, with crypto holding through the renewed U.S.-Iran escalation. Oil near 92 and a semiconductor index down more than 14% over 5 sessions. They're trying to say that it traded like a tech stock, but then all the things people were speculating on are down. Crypto's strong, man. It's a new technology that moves money fast. It's nothing that, AI can use it. As AI becomes faster and faster and becomes doing more and more microtransactions, cryptocurrency is the only way that the economy can run as fast as AI. You can't run bank accounts like AI. Swift isn't fast enough. The whole section isn't done. You can already do micropayments on Tron. You can already do micropayments, on many blockchains. Solana does very well, very fast, right? So we have capable blockchains that are amazing. Sui and Sui are also nice. This is happening. I called this bounce, and I'm sticking to it. I see a double bottom here. We're about to pounce back to the upside. I'm staying long, folks. I never wavered the whole day, no matter how much the trade went up or down. Send it up. They sent it up once, brought it back down. I got faith that this level here is so strong because you had 7 candles that got resistance. When you break above a 7-candle resistance, it becomes very strong. Again, we may just get a move here. It may not be the bigger pump. We're looking for that 1 hour to kind of eventually revisit the 21-day moving average. Remember this. Always have the big picture in mind and be okay with what's happening. The bounce off the 200 is so beautiful. It tells us that we can get what we're looking for. I'm going to use a clean chart right now and show you a little more of what I'm saying. What I love about this channel is we kind of deep dive. We start off like a baby. We don't know what's going to happen to Bitcoin. I'm open-minded with you guys because I don't truly know. I look at it like, who knows what they're going to be doing. And then from there, we start developing a storyline. Once things make sense, we see kind of where we're going. So look, first things first, we came and bounced off the 200 here on the 4-hour time frame. And what looks like a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. I bet somebody today, he said, we're not going to go to 76 before we go to 52. I think it was 56 before we go to it was 56 before we go. We're not going to go to 56 before we go to 72. I took that bet. It was $100, but I took that bet. I think it's highly likely we go to 72 before 56. I think it's highly likely this was the bottom. I don't know if we ever go below 57 Chevy, man. You know, Heinz Ketchup 57. Of course they brought it to 57. They love 57. They've been doing 57 this whole time. Let's take a look at the daily and see what's happening to the daily in this flag here. And, you know, I'm looking for the move back to the 200 moving average too, and I'm looking for this to hold. That's a tweezer bottom right there, and you're followed by some big candles. Today's looking nice. When you get a higher low, you come for the next resistance. It tells me 66.6 is coming. Let's take a look if anything's changed on Bookmap. I mean, look, big red is forming above us, and it's getting deeper and larger at 65.5. They're screaming that they're taking us higher. Bookmap is also starting to, and Bookmap has been like 98% accurate for the last, I'd say, 3 weeks. There's been like 2 spoofs in the entire, since like late May. Since I've been here, there's been like 2 spoofs. Meaning like there's red above it and we don't go there. When there's red above it, we've been going there, man. It's been about 98% accurate. You find that out for yourself. You can show up on my channel every day and say, well, he shows it. And then you can map out and then you can say, well, that day was right, that day was wrong, that day was right. You can figure this stuff out for yourself. I reveal the information so much that it's there for you to figure out. This daily looks good. I mean, and the daily isn't a bit of a, you said it before I did, I know, Sammy Cup and Handle. The Sammy Cup and Handy to the upside. That also has a bigger move. Watch, that's going to take us towards that 200 moving average. 73,552 as well. So, like, this is starting to tell me that there's a move. And there's that cup and handle with the higher low. And that's, you know, I bet on the Sammy Cup and Handy. And we got rejected by the double top. To me, that's cat ears. Should have made the move down and started a lower move, but you did not. You had this nice resistance here that gave you the bounce back to the upside. It looks exceptional. 4-hour bounces off the 200 moving average, which is key. And then it just takes me here again back to the 1 hour 200. And I just, you know, we know what we're doing here. And this is where we stand. So I'm looking for this to consolidate for 5 hours. You know, I'm willing to wait. That's people are like, dang, I love the 1 hour. You know, I go do something with my kids. I double check on it. I could trade an altcoin on the side, especially in the summer. It's good to have a more low key trade, in my humble opinion, than be like, you know, you want to be angst on the smaller time frames. They love wrecking people all summer long. There's a lot of people going to lose all their capital this summer. It's kind of sad. We're going to come back and probably rip October, November, and they're going to have no money. All they had to do is kind of just keep it low-key, listen to the life, or do their thing. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but man, come on. Please don't lose all your money on a light summer trading market. You know, and again, they get vexed. I made 10 grand one week, like, oh, I could have made 10 grand that week. So then they kind of get angst and they go crazy. Just relax. Money's coming. Eventually, to the consistent people that keep coming back. I mean, I've never seen the consistent people not win. I figured out how to become consistent. I started winning, and I saw anyone else who was consistent win. And I said to myself, this is how you win. You stay consistent. There's no other way, right? So keep pushing forward every single day. And, you know, and believe in yourself too. Like, having self-confidence is important. Don't be conceited, but having self-confidence is so important. Believing that you can, you will, and you are the best, man, and that you can help other people. Because once you show a beautiful life, you can show other people how to live a beautiful life. Say you bought a beautiful farm. You manicured it beautifully, you had a nice farmhouse, you had goats, you had solar panels, and you were telling people, hey, I live off-grid. I set it up like this. This is how I do it. And you inspired so many people to live off-grid. To do that, you need to be successful. You're not showing off your success. You're not boasting. You're teaching people that a great life is possible. Something more than, you know, I lived in a one-bedroom apartment. I used to look out the window right across from the projects in Spanish Harlem. It wasn't the worst, but I lived at 99th and 3rd. The projects were across the street, you know, whatever. It was what it was. I wasn't that far from Upper East Side, but I was on the cusp. And I'm not saying feel sorry for myself. I'm just saying there was a time in my life where I lived in it was a 2-bedroom. Me and my sister shared it. And there was a time where I lived in a one-bedroom too with my wife. For 10 years, I lived in a one-bedroom apartment for $14.50 a month. 11 years, actually. I left in COVID, man. I lived there. I thought I was going to be there 3-4 years. I lived in that apartment for over 10 years. I actually said, am I going to end up like, am I going to live and die in it? Am I never going to own a home? You know? Cryptocurrency created such a beautiful life for me. And maybe it's, you know, and I believe it's going to be crypto for everyone watching. You know, I think cryptocurrency, but I believe it's you too, though. I want you to understand that I won because I believed in myself. I won because I started putting discipline before anything else. I cut off negative people, negative situations, and I just started talking positively to myself. I started working out every day. I started creating endorphins in my mind. I told you we can chemically create endorphins. The endorphins will make us feel good. Endorphins will actually empower us to do what we say we're going to do. When you're working out every day, you got this feeling of discipline. You feel good. You say, hey, I said I was going to work out. I do it. Then you look good. Your friends and family see you. They can tell you're working out. You don't look like a fatty. You're lean. You're in charge. You look good. That has confidence throughout your life. When you show up somewhere and shake someone's hand for the first time. If your wife takes you out, you're like, oh, we're going to go out and hang out with this couple for the first time. You show up and you look in really good shape. It feels good. What if you show up, you shake the other guy's hand? He's in really good shape. It's like, okay, I'm on his level, right? What if you show up really fat and the other guy's in great shape? It's kind of like, dang, man. Kind of sits you, it's a slap in the face to you that you haven't been taking care of yourself, you know? So I like to work out, take care of myself, live in sunny areas that make you feel like you gotta, you know what I mean? In Florida, shorts all the time, flip-flops all the time. You know, it's hot out there. We barely wear shoes. I don't wear socks ever anymore. Just here and there, very rarely. In the winter in Boston, you wear socks every single day. It's freezing cold. You ain't going nowhere in no flip-flops. You know what I mean? I lived in the Northeast for 20 years, you know, 20 and 41 years of my life, right? And I've done 2 years in Florida now. I come back to Massachusetts for 2 months, May and June, and that's about it, you know? Everything okay? You all right, boo? Ah, my wife. So special, so sweet. She's like very militant, though. She'll be on you. You know what I mean? Which is good and bad in many ways. You know what I mean? I don't, you know. I'm going to stop talking now before she comes down and gives me the don't talk about me on the stream. I wasn't saying anything bad, babe. I promise. What is this? Rogan? Rogan AI. Rogan AI. So funny. Checking on if they're nice. You know, now you're looking for like kind of a rising wedge to eventually, you're looking, I would change this angle a little bit. And you're looking for this like parabolic, it's going to go on like a nice little parabolic run up there. You know, I see it kind of extending up to 2 cents, to 2. Then it's going to probably have that bigger pullback. You're going to get these moves, consolidation. This is solid. This is what you want to see. Very small market cap still. Like, could be the very beginnings, even though we've been over it for a long time. Could the beginnings of something bigger, for sure. Which is very interesting. You know, I didn't expect to see that much movement right now in the meme sector. Wow, beat continuing in the last week, but in the last hour, hash. Nothing really too crazy, though. In the last day, Uni actually continues. Let's talk about Uni, because someone asked me about Uni yesterday. Maybe it was even 2 days ago, and I actually started looking at it a few days before that. And we had a trade for Uni. So let's take a look at this. Shout out to anyone that jumped into Uniswap. Huge pump to the upside. And again, it was in an ascending triangle with the 21 above the 200. This is simple stuff, folks. We buy when the 21 touches price action. We put our stop below the 200. We let price go. Like, this is like, I know I made this simple. Like, literally, we could teach our 8-year-old kids how to do this, man. And I think they would be better than we are at it, because they would really stick to the script. You know? But we can teach our kids to do this. They'll know how to do this. I've asked my daughter, you want to learn how to trade? She's like, no, I want marine biology. I'm like, you got to learn how to trade. I was like, you can still trade as a marine biologist. Uniswap, waking up. And that was given in the trading group. Let's see, I think it's up about 20%. No? Maybe not. It's a bigger coin, but yeah, 12% ain't bad. Uni waking up. This call was given in the trading group at cryptolifer.com. Go to cryptolifer.com. Go to cryptolifer.com. Go to cryptolifer.com. Subscribe to the Discord. Get yourself the education you're missing. I scan the market all the time. I'm going to find the coins. When you're at work, hanging out with your family and friends, this is my work. So, like, you're at work learning how to trade, just like I was when I started a trading group. I joined the trading group while I had a job. My job now is the trading group and my own trading and my channel and trading. Like, I have to be on trading. I have no, if I don't pay attention to trading tonight and tomorrow morning, I don't have a show tomorrow. I'll wake up like, I'm going to be locked in and knowing so much about the market by tomorrow, where IF is, where Uni is, where Bitcoin is, what's happening to Ethereum, Bitcoin. Like, I'm locked in. This is my life. There's nothing distracting me from this because my wife wants me to do this because it helps her life, right? So, like, my kids are like, Dad has to work. I work 7 days a week. I know it. Today's a Thursday, second to last day in July, in the middle of the summer. I am still grinding. Why? Because if you love what you do and you live your dreams, you will never take a day off. I'll say that again. If you love what you do, and you live your dreams, why would you take a day off from your dreams? Why would you stop doing what you know is amazing? Why would you not push what makes you amazing? You know, this show is everything to me. This channel is everything to me. You guys are everything to me. Anyone who believes in me, I want to keep giving you guys information and data that will blow your mind. I want to have fun together. Look at this AIN. This one's been interesting. We've actually traded this on and off recently. Infinity Protocol. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes on a little bit of a run here. Starting to consolidate pretty nicely above the 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. Last few times I've called this out, it has had these big pumps out of nowhere. 11.9 Infinity Ground. Funny, Illuvium pumping up to the 200. Illuvium trying to like say, hey, I'm going to double bottom. Could gaming come back eventually? Pump.fun did break out to the upside. And again, Pump's starting to come back because Pump's showing signs of life. Like we're seeing some memes go. Just want to keep peeking at if. It's so fun to see all-time highs on the show. I mean, all-time high today. Some say, hey, some bear, not even that much bear div. 4-hour bear div. 4-hour bear div, though. Tells us that we may have to be careful there. It did go on a nice pump. Again, like I said, I would watch those smaller time frames. I would watch the 21 here on that 15. I look for pump to consolidate if I was going to really go at, like, do this. It might make a shoulder, head, right shoulder and come down too. Let's look at our baby Solana. I haven't looked at Solana in a long time. Then I'm going to jump back into the chat. Make sure I didn't skip any super chat easies, anything anyone's asking about. Shout out to the super chat. You guys are amazing. Came in strong and hard. Mo Gaines, Enzo, TTKO, Crypto Cash. God bless you, brother. Good morning, legend. Mad Creek. Caspa Gold Standard. And shout out to you, man. You made, your call on if made me 10K. Shout out to helping someone make 10,000. That's my life, man. I'm happy. Greetings, comrade. If looks ready to explode. My man, you called it. And my man, Crypto Archie with the 99 pound, which is amazing. And then my man, Mo Gaines saying thank you for Archie for the, you know what I mean? You guys are awesome for introducing him to me. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Those are really empowering super chats. Quick analysis on FET. Much love, Sammy. We looked at FET yesterday, man. It looks like garbage. It's at the very bottoms. I'll look at it for you, but it's like, come on. But I'll look at it. I get it. It's basically like if you believe in it, buy it. If you don't, leave it alone. It's very high risk. I see Solana breaking out. I like it holding this key level. I truly believe a stop loss below 69 will hold for Sol. So 3-to-1 risk reward ratio, we get to 93. Looking for this to pump eventually. Too much action on memes, pump fun. Robinhood could even create a little bit of liquidity back into Sol. Like this is, they work hand in hand. Nice little pump off the bottom for Fetch. You have to remember, I mean, it's at the very low. The AI partner of Goodwood FOS July 9th, I guess. I mean, it had some news. As I said yesterday, it looks like it's in a descending triangle. Like, I feel like I believed in this. I had a bunch of it. I still own it. It looks like the narrative has completely died. AGI, you can get your AGI for fetch, all that. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. That looks like it's going lower. So either we're buying the absolute bottom, and it's going to double bottom here, start a massive move back to the upside, which you have to believe in. I don't believe in it enough. I'd rather buy Canton CC and speculate on the fact that that's going to become like, you know what I mean? The $1 trillion asset that DTCC uses to move trillions of dollars around the world. Like, that makes more sense to me at the present moment in time, and I could be wrong, but that's like how I look at it. This looks bearish to me. I would only even think about trading it if it broke back above this high at 27 cents and then bounced. I guess that is a double up. You could take a high risk long right here if you feel like, if you're just like, yes, this is it. You know, 15-minute looks interesting. I'll give that to you. Making a bit of a flag. There's a chance FET does. I think this is what we're seeing. 21 above the 200. Your indicator said yay. You wanted to double check that I also saw the same thing. I think I'm kind of leaning into what you're doing there. It's been annoying that it does that every time now. Didn't always. Funny, I'm grabbing the wrong tool for some. I'm losing it. He's losing it, folks. 6% up to 14 cents. 14.98. That looks likely. I mean, I like what I'm seeing. Chance we did get the absolute bottom for fetch. I think I see what you're saying now. Sorry, I was so hard on it. It just, you know what it is. I guess it's a little personal pain of mine because I like the coin. I had a lot of money in there. It didn't really play out so far. So I've taken some hit on the altcoins. I don't think I didn't. October, I didn't lose I wasn't heavy leverage on October 10th, but a lot of things still to this day never came back strong. Like they took a lot of faith out of the market that gave us some backbone, and now we got people back. I mean, it's not over, but dang, you gotta say that was a moment in time for anyone who's been in altcoins like me since 2017. It was kind of like I was like, I am really in some speculative assets here. You know, before I thought I was in like some substantial projects that were, I was like, dang, crypto is speculative. Like, you know, when you could do that, I mean, then they started doing the same things to gold, and I started realizing, man, this market is crazy. They'll do anything to anything. This RLC looks interesting to me. We traded this on and off throughout the last couple of years. It's been around. And funny, Uni continues to pump. Shout out to the Uni call. Here's another. If you looked at Uni there on the 15, you can see there it is. The 21 above the 200 inside consolidation. There's your entry right there. The cup and handle. Cup and handle right there. 21. Pump. Pump. It loves to pump off these handles at the 21. You see, the weekly does this. The daily does this. Look, here's another beautiful example of my model. We get it on the 21. Pump. Take just this move here. Call it a day. It doesn't always have to be the biggest pump. We want to replicate, do the same thing over and over and over again. Bitcoin. Look, starting to look good. The bounce off the 200 is telling me that we're more likely doing this than that. I'm going to look out for this to come in conjunction with that 21 and get a bigger pump. I like what I'm seeing. When these get closer, I'm not going to add to my long. I still might make $2,000 too when we hit 67.7, so I'll be a little shy. Usually I should make 3,000 on that move, but you know, that means I'm 2/3 of my regular position sizing. I like the bounce off the 200 here. 1 minute could be bouncing above the 200 too as well. So in tune with the small time frames, I know when one thing happens on one, I can see what's happening on the next. So awesome to know how, to be so in tune with trading that you feel it in your heart and soul, that you know what's happening. Like, it's like, again, I don't want to be like that know-it-all, but you just get it. You're in tune. You're definitely there's times when you're in tune. And this summer has got me so locked in. I'm ready for the fall, man. Super focused this summer. Wow, look at that pump. Puts us back up where we were at the beginning of the stream. Imagine making $300 off $1,200 off $1,000. Someone gives you $1,000 and you make $300. You would be so ecstatic in your first trade. And again, I encourage you to start and open up. You know, you go here to the pinned comment in the live chat. Okay? Which I missed today, crazy. But you go to the pinned comment in the live chat. We make it very simple. And you could trade with me on weeks, man. Right here. and hit the link to Weeks and sign up. And again, when you sign up to Weeks, you go over here and you start demo trading with me right away. Like you could take this trade with a demo account before you load up the account so you can start to understand how the buttons work. You got to get accustomed to the sidebar, how to move your stop loss up and down, where to take profits, where not, you know what I mean? All this stuff matters. It's all very important. And I would like to get to know this with funny money than real money. Just like I've opened up shorts instead of longs when I should have. I've done both stuff. All right. Do you trade the Qs? No, not much. Do you trade the Qs? What is AAVE being an actual altcoin today? Glad I logged in on ADA last month. Cool, man. Yeah. PIPPIN FEBU. Oh, yeah, you asked about FEBU? And I was like, eh. They're like, dude, I asked about FEBU. And I said I'd look at it on my own, right? I don't think I found it, man. Does this sit here? Yeah, I don't know. It's got a tiny mark. It looks like a rugger. You know what I mean? I think I looked at it and I said, no way. I don't know what it is, man. Doesn't look good to me. Almost $1 million market cap. I don't know. I'm all set. You said it's called PIPPIN FEBU? I just see FEBU, man. And then I see PIPPIN. Are you asking about two at the same time? PIPPIN's been hot on and off. It trades on XE, but look at that. That looks... I'm all set, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope I upset you, but that's why I didn't want to look at those. You know? Lifer, love your show. Can you look at AAVE for you? Because you said nice things for sure. But next time, send in a super chat for TA and deep dive to make it fair for everybody. I like AAVE right now. It looks bullish on the bigger time frame. Suggested if you get in right now and hold that it's going to pump. I like it. When these get tight, you know, again, it didn't cross the 200 yet. There's going to be a little bit of resistance, but man, when it gets above, a big pump could come and a massive short squeeze ensues. So AAVE looks very bullish to me and looks like it's about to pump to the upside. I like what I'm seeing for AAVE, that borrowing platform. And it's kind of like the banker's borrowing platform. You know, it's clean. People like AAVE. Been around a long time. That's a nice call. Thank you so much. See, we take the time to listen, and you give us gold. You give us absolute gold. People love coins. XCN. I don't know. Lifer, love your show. Everyone, I got to jump on out of here for the day. I got so much I got to be doing. I will keep in touch with you throughout the trading group. Go to cryptolifer.com to find out more. Shout out to all the new people that jumped on in. Shout out to everyone that's still in the live trade with me. So far, I called it here. I called it there. I eventually got what I was telling you was going to happen. The support and resistance flip, the pump back to the upside. Now we're looking for the 1 hour to hold that 200, reconnect with the 21-day moving average, and get a beautiful pump later on today or into tonight. I am long BTC. I like what I'm seeing. Big picture, little picture. Let's go, baby, to the moon. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for supporting me and giving me any essence of your time. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you for all the super chats and all the love. One more stream from this location, and then I break it down, and we don't come back here for another year. Last time I did that, I took a deep breath, and I said, will I still be streaming here a year from now? And luckily, by God's will, I was. By my persistence, my discipline, and by God's will, I chose to keep doing it, so I was. So when I decide the stream's over, it will be. Until then, I'm in control of reality, and the stream will go on. So God bless everybody here on the live. Thank you for everybody for coming on in, and thank you so much for being here. I'll see you all tomorrow with another beautiful live stream, and I'll be inside the Discord. Thank you so much for everything, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, wait, one thing I forgot, obviously, right? Awkward moments. Stay fresh, stay amazing. Thank you so much for being with the Lifers. Go to cryptolifer.com to find out more. Trade live on Weeks. Shout out to everyone watching on Weeks for the token 2049. So awesome. That giveaway is great. And God bless everybody again. Thank you so much for your time. I just, no words can really, fill my feeling of gratitude. But I'll say as much as I can every day. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless. We did it, baby. The secret to success is getting started.